Good evening, everybody. Welcome in from the World Wide Web to Backroom Broadsides, February 2nd. And I love the sound of this, 2021. 21. Of course, didn't start too good in January, but 11 months to clean it up. And, well, get your shots, do all that. Tonight, we have a really, really interesting poetry reading with Wanda and Amma Birch. We're going to start with Wanda, and then we're going to move over to Amma. These two poets really go together well, and I know that because I saw them read at Great Weather for Media's reading a little while ago, and they got together then, and oh boy, if I can get them, and we got them. So I'm going to start with Wanda. You know, Wanda Phipps has two books out, Field of Want and Wake Up Calls. She originally comes to New York City from Washington, D.C., and I think what I hear when I hear her poetry, or if I read it, there's a kind of squeezing into a small space, although it might be long, but the lines are small, to a small space of reality images and dream kind of images. And they're kind of forced into one another, and they crack a little bit, like something leaks out of the words. And it's this compression of, I hate to use the word dream, but of sort of dream images and world. And I mean, it's just kind of dialogue between internal and external that's so close together that they kind of have to talk like you talk to a guy in a crowded subway or something. Anyway, without any further ado, I want to introduce my really good friend, Wanda Phipps. Take it away, Wanda.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, James. Thank you for asking me to read again. It was lovely reading earlier for your series last year, and it's great to read again with Amma. She's so amazing. I think I'm going to start off with a poem from my first book, Wake Up Call, 66 Morning Poems. And someone said they read this poem recently and felt it was really appropriate for these times. So here we go. Morning poem number 21. Nothing I want more than nothing. Nothing to fear, to expect, to criticize, to dread, to bore, to struggle. Nothing. No anxiety, no pressure, no disappointment. No unrealistic hopes, no disillusion, no broken hearts, no nostalgic looks, no longing glances, no apocalypse. And next, I'd like to read some poems from my second full-length book, Field of Wanting, Poems of Desire. And I like to preface this usually by saying I'm not an angry person normally, and so I get all of my anger out in this one poem, and it's called, This is an Angry Poem. I am not a primordial princess. I am not a jazz expert. I am not an exotic adventure. I am not a great tap dancer. I am not an outstanding athlete. I am not a criminal. I am not a sex fiend. I am not the other woman. I am not an inappropriate choice. I am not an embarrassment. I am not a trophy for the radically chic. I am not a radical politico. I am not a crusader. I am not a revolutionary. I am not a Southern accent. I am not a nice white boy's fantasy. I am not a rapper. I am not fluent in Black English. I am not a symbol of integration. I am not a token anything. I am not your Black friend. I am not your Black girlfriend. I'm not an expert on Harlem. I'm not more white than Black. I am not assimilated. I am not your secretary. I'm not your gateway to Africa. I'm not the voice of Black America. I'm not the other. I'm not a threat. I'm not a typical anything. I am not the Black experience. I'm not to be pitied. I'm not to be praised unnecessarily. I'm not a decoration. I'm not the keeper of ancient wisdom. I am not a part of your mythology. I am one Black woman. And now for a little change of pace, this is called Funky Sonnet number 2. But then how is it not a ladylike gesture to straddle a friendly poet in my jean skirt on a weekend? Or was it a lazy afternoon? Well, whatever it was dear and much like a lady, as in a woman, as in honest desire, or a bit of holy communion or holy communing. Do you never wear socks? I'm not looking out the window. I'm looking ecstatic or some understandable facsimile. Freewheeling in my own psychic space, I'm often fond of free-falling ladyfingers. And this is from a series called Hours, and they're written on my lunch hour, much like Frank O'Hara's lunch poems, and this is called Second Hour. If I were the savior, you would lose again. We went to all the gay clubs and had a very wild time, she said, sipping blood in a wine glass. What seemed stranger still was a tale of a quadriplegic's bride bought for the weekend, and the way his voice was amplified so that words closely resembled loud, echoic, loudly resonating moans. If I were a sailor, you would loose again. There doesn't seem to be a balance of interest in our conversations. There's a balancing machine that measures exactly the flow of air emitted from each vent in a given room or cluster of rooms. If I were a saver, you would lease again. I feel used, she said, as if a relationship is an economic arrangement, he said. I now release the need to be a victim. I now release the need. If I were a saint, you would leave again. I ask, what have I done? Nothing. The little things add up. My thoughts point vindicating daggers in your direction. Are we having fun yet? Be my friend. Be my overcoat. Be my remote control. Be my barometer, baby. And the next one is called Zither Mood. And this is part 2 of Zither Mood. First thing this morning, almost waking, thought a sliver moon looked down on us. The phone rang. A woman with a chipper voice asked for the number of the former tenant. I gave it to her, my voice rasping and scratching, and even 15 minutes after I found my glasses, my eyes wouldn't focus. I wonder if you'll call. I should clean up my back room and start reading the encyclopedic tome, This Business of Music, on which I spent my last dollar buying last night and trudged through the first snow of the season to find. This is a poem of dailiness, or is this a poem of dallying? This is one of my first days off when I have absolutely no commitments. Long time since I felt this kind of lazy freedom. This is a journal-like poem, a rattling off of minutia with things of great import hiding in the corners. I love what hides in the secret corners of poems, like codes begging to be broken. Have to wake up, stop. My tea is cold. And it's interesting that, James, in my introduction, you mentioned a dreamlike quality or dreams used in my poems. And now I like to read part of this long poem I wrote that's also in my second book, Field of Wanting. And it's called Womb Dreams, and it's maybe like an 8.5-page poem in 3 parts. And it's a long poem about the idea of dreams in the womb. And if you dream in the womb, what do you dream about? Do you dream about previous lifetimes? And so I used it as a device for a collection or a container for dreams and imagined scenes and visions. And so I'll only read part 2. This is part 2 from Womb Dreams. There is no simple story. My heart isn't in it. So I'll tell it as it comes. Something tropical, dark black earth, a rainforest perhaps. We sit on a huge boulder, watching sky peeking through the trees and shadows made by the swaying leaves and branches on the ground. In the heat, I feel as if we're on the bottom of the ocean and all our movements have a slow motion crispness. I feel his breath on the back of my neck, his arms wrapped around my waist. Suddenly, all of the forest sounds cease, complete silence. Everything has stopped. The forest becomes a soundproofed room. The air is being slowly sucked out of this beige soundproofed room, making breathing difficult. He takes off his golden glasses and puts one hand on my cheek. And instantly, before his hand falls to his side, I appear behind a glass window inside the room, with black velvet curtains behind me. I begin to take off my clothes. He watches. I turn my back to him, and we are again on the boulder in the rainforest, and I feel his hand on my bare back and his breath on the back of my neck. Sometimes I believe darkness is purer than light. Somehow, in the shadows, I find a fuller truth than in the blinding clarity of light. Night has always brought comfort and fear. This combination comes closer to my view of reality than one or the other existing separately. Where is the melancholy in a chandelier, in a tenement, a stack of books on a gray wooden floor, a pair of shoes trimmed in gold? Voices always trigger the jump in the gut, and then the response like bodies connected to the voices. Where inside your brain is this thought? Can I carve it out with a kitchen knife and save it for a better time? Can I burn it out and watch it smolder down to milk white ash and bone? I can't touch or taste or smell or hear or see it, but it finds me again and again, breath on the back of my neck. I was running down a dark hill. It was night. They were chasing me, the men in black raincoats. I kept falling and getting up and running again just in time. Before they could reach me, I reached a burnt out house, and I saw someone on the top floor through a window. I went in for help, but in was more frightening than out. So dark, but cool and calming, with many doorways charred and black with ash. Somehow I knew as I climbed the stairs again and again, each time the person moved farther away, so the distance between us remained equal. Prometheus, keen in all art, brought the fire. Little boys stomped out the flames, throwing bottles in the street, watching the pieces shatter and sparkle under street lights. And this is called Boulder Rondo 2. And so now, what's the real story? He told her, she told him, he left her. Then she told me that she left him. Her smile, like his, fixed yet ambiguous. She's smiling over the spinach. He's smiling over the tomatoes. And so now, what's the real thing? Her headache is better now. Why am I so nervous again, anxious and tight? And so, what's next? Always holding in tummy, the neck and shoulders, the buttocks. And so, what now? And this is a tiny poem from this series I did called Mail Poems, and that's M-A-I-L, mail, as in like the U.S. Postal Service. And it was part of a collaboration that I did with a friend, and we mailed poems to each other back and forth and responded to each other's poems. And this is one that I wrote in response to his. Hide from the little bear with the lover of horses. How you nuzzle my neck, thinking of her clean-shaven pussy makes me tremble. Jump as the little mound quivers. Peace is a mind full of juniper trees and drunken bees. And this next poem is from my book coming out this spring from Matana Media Press. And the book is called Mind Honey, which is the same title as my website. And this poem is called These Are Special to Me. I remember, yes, my nails are dirty. A neglected hand, you said that. Write about it until it's resolved. Slow acting Novocaine. A pleasant tingle as I reach for my pen. On a downtown A train to a B-list brawl. Just what I always wanted, a man who notices my earrings. If you remain wistful, it's your fault. If I remain longing, it's your fault. If we remain, whose fault is it? In many Greek translations, I love your long lines, the ideal beauty of your form. In a name I call not yours, but another's, to take the place of you. Watch your face for sudden changes and abstract cello screeches, unsure with the heat, stand for the breeze just right. Didn't know you'd be that cold. Discipline, willpower, such violation walking into a bar alone. Awkward dancing stirs the air, a dark, tight room. Tattooed face and hands salute gray walls. Perfect face spoiled by the bearer's knowledge of it. Reggae clears the room. And this is my last poem. This is a totally fresh new poem that I wrote yesterday. And so far it's untitled. Here we go. See snow falling so thick outside. Can almost taste the icy flakes on the tongue. Vision of a woman telescoping into the future, conquering all the forces of delusion, narrowly escaping a contemporary Punch and Judy show. She contemplates the jump to the unfamiliar, calculating the risk to new adventures. The ice burns like fire. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Wanda. That was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Thank you so much. You know, I'm speechless. It was gorgeous. Well, our next poet, Alma Birch. You know, we were just talking before we came on, and she gave a reading recently for Great Weather for Media, and when I was listening to it, it was like the words popped. And made me think of two things. First of all, the bass players that like brought funk, the guy behind James Brown, I think his name is Fred Thompson, and also the guy that played on Chef, is a kind of pop. You get the notes, but they're popping. Like he snaps it with his thumb when he plays. Ama's use of words, they sort of pop, like bam in the old Batman TV show. Pow! And it makes me think something that William Carlos Williams said to the great Marion Moore. He said that Marion Moore has a way of writing her nouns so that they all have like little black lines around them when they come out on the page. I think of the famous poem she wrote, The Steeple. That's it. The Steeple. I never forget the name. I always think of seagull. It's like a New England. But the words she uses, the nouns she uses, they don't just, oh, here comes a verb, and now this one. They pop. Amma Birch's poetry pops. She's got 4 books, and I really recommend you get all 4 of them. Send them for Christmas, too. Amma, it's all yours. Take it away.
That's great. Oh, wow. James, thank you for that introduction. That was amazing. Jocelyn, thank you for helping to put all this together. I just really need to thank you and everyone who's involved with Backroom reading, and Wanda, dynamite reading. So thank you for thinking of me. This is first poem up. I'm gonna read. It's called Ghana. Tropical fish swim in schools so bright, a fluorescent light, an interesting face. Fish make me think. That's right. It's brain food. Clownfish, alone in its tank, waiting to be sold. Thick white stripes. Fishy. Sometimes you smell. Soak meat in. Your odor never leaves. I wanted to read something old. I don't know when I wrote it, but I guess it's not that old. Maybe in the last 2 years, but it was published by an online magazine in Great Britain called Jubilee. It's called Bottom Drops. Open, close, hose, foes, nose, hose, dig, dug, big bug, run, gun, fear, leer, a bliss I go, flames soon won, whizzing, thee we sing, we sign, we pine, urinating is hard, working, job, jobs, jobbing, push, drive, pull, tight. It used to be so simple. Strive, fall, fail, flight, cops acquitted, bang, 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 bang. Another brother dead. I go driving. There was a fig tree in the backyard when I was a kid. Bushwick, standing on the porch, tiptoeing, towing tip, reaching, grabbing, getting, opening, piercing, white, pink, fruit, flesh, crunching seeds, juices drip off my chin, miles of road, violent storms, thunder bombs explode, sky pink fuchsia, bright yellow rain falls. On the way home now, fireflies tingle, light flicker, bright, no syncopated rhythm here, dance party light fields, blue light shine, memory, fireflies in jars, captured, caught, possessed. An older brother tries to domesticate fireflies, shone bright one night in captivity, a child's laugh, bring me home. On the road last week, miles of green mountains, the smell of hay and grass lingers, farms everywhere, horses and homes, smokestacks, a nuclear power plant. The Ohio River is muddy, crops growing, greenhouses, shiny. I near my destination, Columbus. This is America. Ethel reminds me of home, a pleasant voice. Asa was chosen to die, not Isaac. God the prophet, God the human, God the Holy Spirit, held in hand like an Egyptian pharaoh with a ginormous erection. I rise, light piercing from my eyes, creaky steps in the attic. There is grace for all, none remain on the road home. There are miles like the Nina, Pina, and Santa Maria. A new world is the destination. There are people there. It is new to me. There have always been people there. I am not the first. I am not the last. I am in the middle. I am the middle. When I get home, there is a cat in the park waiting to be a pet. So I guess, I'm going to read this next poem, Lessons from Billy Collins. I guess pre-pandemic, what was Alma Birch doing? Alma Birch was writing in diners. And this is a poem from that period of time. Lessons from Billy Collins. Quality time, tick, tock, tock, tick moves on. Its value, its weight, discourse occurs in life, not just in books. Tap the horn, laugh about death, howl at the moon, woof, limpid thinking, moment and hours. The time between two deaths are two poems, since each poem is a petite death. Everybody fades. I gave my mother a card once. She gave birth to me. So in 2019, in October 2019, I was published in the Brooklyn Rail, and the poem is called AB020577. Sallow night, worms magnified with moonlight. Sammy, are you here? A plate falls. Don't know why I didn't come. Pull the espresso shot. Drench the pool of light from the moon. How? That was unnecessary. I am not the wolf. I am more like a slimy eel these days. Let me pull you closer to me. The chest is full of gold. Children going home from school, dancing, crossing streets, staying with you for all time. Who can say, when will the cookie come back? You don't know what the nights are like. Missing the perfect laugh in secret. Oh, put some ice in it. Sing out loud and go to the moon. The light sings a beautiful song. Francis is here. What a saint. Play that music. Swing, swing, swing in spring. Lost and insecure corn muffin. Hold on to me. Slurp. Can I enjoy a drink? Another day with ketchup on the counter. Wind swept off feet. Enter the Milky Way. Did you find yourself? Heroes bleed. Would you like some more hot water? First, break all the rules. Does it feel like home? What's mine is yours. Crumple the paper. Shake the plastic bag. Gregorian chants. Fade into overtones. Eat more whipped cream. Rule the world. Come back. Yes, yes. Cough, cough. Puppet on a chain. Hand me a napkin. Stand by me. The smell of coffee. Can I get the deluxe? Can I be a star? Open the gates. Flood the oranges. Cry with the raw meat. No one knows my name. So, I guess, 2010, I was living in Los Angeles, and I just graduated grad school at Cal Arts, and I wrote this poem called Autumn in California. And I sent it to Steve Cannon, a friend of my dad's, and someone who I've knew my entire life. And he published it. It's still on the Gathering of the Tribes website. It's called Autumn in California. Leaves failing, falling, failing, falling, hit the ground, swirls, white pollen engulfs me. I read a book on the path, children playing baseball, women at the salon, kick stone, rock path, move bush forward, curved clouds emerge behind the scarlet moon, yellow leaves, twisting thing, the wind, a naked woman, snakes drawn on her body, a window passes light, raw on her back, a gun on her side. The artist draws, marking her skin, broad, bold, lines intersecting. A photographer snaps pictures of Arthur Ashe's reflection in the mirror, giggles from smokers watching the artist working. Light passes through the window. An arrow speckled with gold cuts across her back. Her nipples glisten in the light of the night. Seaweed! Seaweed! The Pacific calls. Skinny dippers bathe in moonlight. Whirlpools, smoke rings drift to the sky. I wanted to share a few poems with you from Sonnet Boom, my book of 88 contemporary Shakespearean sonnets. This first one is called Dalliance. Woods, a road, foods, a toad, God in the tree, God in the meadow, God in the flea, God in the sparrow. The God in me salutes the God in you. The toad at tea tells the flies in its stew. Yummy, says the bunny. This is An American Speaks. Geography of hate, nooses and guns, trees hang with fate, color runs, strange fruit dangling, bodies in the form of loot, a strangling, mother wails, father dies, tears pale, murderer lies. Jim Crow, who don't know? I'm going to read a new poem called City Lights, and I wrote it for Sonia Sanchez. Golden Gate, fog and ocean, picture it. This is my mother. Picture it. This is my mother. Picture it. This is my mother. All of a sudden, a talking wave collapses. Legacy of Black poetry. Rainbow of America. Here, Baraka. Here, Clifton. Here, Jordan. Listen to the rhythm of Sanchez. Casualties of war. Ay, 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 ay. I see the body bags. Ay, 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 ay. Left by Englishmen. Ay, 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 ay. A blade of grass. Find the beat. Feel the heat. In good hands. In good hands. This is a pretty new poem called Metropolitan. Who gets up in the morning, who builds the towers, who bakes the bread. The train is on the truck, who sees sight amorphous, who writes the story, who reads the words. Courage. It takes courage to be, to do, and not be seen. I'm going to read a poem from that period of writing in diners. It's called Anthropocene. Fire. Farming. Fumes. Mountains to destroy. Internet of Things. Cyber threat. Human threat. Phablets. Fabulous. Glowing screens. Space. The final frontier. Gray. Gun. Hunt. Prey. Death. Destruction. Despair. Robot. God. Order of animals. Rivers to pollute. Primates rule. Future is female. Smoking. Smokestacks of art in the age of mechanical reproduction. A la Gutenberg. My body on target. Kill your darlings. Earth fauna. Try another planet. Mars. How about the moon? The Underground Railroad to my heart. Music plays, poems about poetry, songs sing, Papa, can you hear me? Who, fire burns, Notre Dame will be rebuilt, Sudan equal genocide, will reparations be paid, slavery, Jim Crow, Holocaust, suffrage, the rich get richer, the present is not enough, rushing for democracy, aliens everywhere. In the age of humans. This is a real new poem. It's called Bring It On Home to Me. It's a couple days old. Magnolia moon, lunar flower. The writing is on the wall. Battered bee. Furnace on fire, melting butter on the stove. When you text me, I think we have a future. Popcorn nights, shiny metal blind me. Can't see aluminum gleaming. Those people burned that day while the lions ate them. A change will come. Sunrise now. Come up, glowing ball. My soul stirs. This next poem is called Why Do I Still Write Poetry? I've always been fascinated about that regarding writers. A lot of writers stop writing poetry pretty early, prose writers. And this poem, I guess, reflective. Craving the moment, excitement of life, Coney Island in my mind, escapism, the pain, the horror between the boats and the hippies, the poor that I knew in my youth before I learned hunger is not a choice. The Atlantic Ocean calls me at night, whispering my name, crashing waves, non-stop, non-stop, non-stop. The night moves in on Sun Ra, a rising crescent youth and city lights, phone called, no returned, prayer answered, dreams with meaning, songs silence, songs innocence, keep the creatures balanced, green, green, green. The forest is on fire. Are we competing for last place? Should I write a song? La-di-da, 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 ship, 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 stoned in London, sound before school, fish swim in the toilet, please don't flinch, grandma is knitting, no music is playing, baked chicken is done, let's eat before we smoke. How do you like those apples? I think my gills might be exposed. Where did I leave my hat? How many people have died of AIDS? Tragic memories, tragic times, tragic today. Pull out the plug. Sometimes wind blows, hum of a sports car, sound of a party. Sirens play a tune to dance to. A whistle catches my ear. A motorcycle pulls away. You never know what will happen next. A child screams with exhilarating J-O-Y. Be my lover, be my lover, be my lover. Da-dee-da, da-dee-da, da-dee-da. The cara oranges sit on the table, ripe, must eat. Time now. A man joins in singing. Crystal Waters, can I go back in time? There were rabbits. Rabbits were there. Hop, hop, hop. Let's fly. Yeah. There's someone in the kitchen who is afraid. Free the universe. They are howling at the moon tight. Queers, queers, queers. Children sing along. There is someone in the kitchen. Woo! Everyone seems to work to survive in New York City. It's the only way. It's the only direction. Up and out again and again. Raspberries and ginger, sweet in the evening. Women smelling wisteria. Hedgehog runs across tracks in front of the Hudson River. Hummingbirds become fat, full drinking nectar, watching Game of Thrones. Summer is here, eating pork belly, crying like a lamb. Light goes out, heat rises, dark and unlonely. I'm going to read this poem. It's called Forever. The last poem I'm going to read tonight. And when I started working on Sonnet Boom, this was the first poem first of the sonnets that I wrote. It's about the spiral jetty in Utah. And so it's a phrasic, and it takes me back about 10 years ago. Forever. A silence like a wave bides, bringing us ashore for aid. The moon rises, the waning tides, the sun, our spiral, is seen another day. Eternity lasts more than a lifetime. The Sphinx will be here forever. The sun comes and goes like my prime. It passes me by in harsh weather. In Utah, there is a place in the flats where the rocks glisten in red and black. At night, there are bats, and the stars can be seen while lying on your back. If aliens were to see the spiral jetty from above, they surely know how much the sun is loved. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who watched and tuned in. Thank you, Broadsides, and thank you.
That was ginormous. That was amazing, beautiful, plosive. No X. Man, I mean, some of it I felt like there should be bubbles like in a comic book over your head, you know. Ginormous. No kidding. And bang, bang, bang. Like, well, I think if you like the sound of the beautiful English language, you had a pretty good night. Well, ladies, on the fix, I'm a Birch. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for gracing this beautiful thing here. And to the people that are watching out there in the web, in the mysterious wide web, we're going to be back here on March 2nd. Not sure who the readers are yet, so I'm not going to announce anything. But they're going to have a tough time following this act, I'll tell you that. But we'll try to make them do it. Thanks again, ladies. Thanks to Jocelyn. Thanks to Backroom Broadsides. Man, what a crash. That was great. Thank you, folks.